Let's get to, as we often do on Fridays, some stories that I just sort of ran out of time for during the week. I want to talk about Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis, who represents Wyoming. Senator Cynthia Lummis spoke the other day at the commencement of University of Wyoming. She gave the graduation speech. And during the graduation speech, for some reason, I don't know why, she went in a transphobic direction, injecting into the speech almost like you would bleach for COVID, which is a bad idea. And this was also a bad idea. That people aren't telling the fundamental truth that there are only two sexes, that anything can be challenged. And in fact, what she said was quite postmodern, in the sense that she made the claim that now there's no empirical realities. You can just sort of challenge anything, which is a postmodern idea at its core. So let's look at the clip and then we'll discuss. Now, she criticized that. I want to be clear. She didn't make the postmodern argument. She made the argument that sex has become almost postmodern, in that any opinion about what sex is equally valid and whatever. Okay, let's listen.
You woke up this morning with more individual freedom in the most creative, divinely inspired nation on earth.
Oh, and one of the things is that the video is sort of like sped up. So I'm going to turn it down so it's at like normal speed.
The transformations and disruptions I have alluded to are testing those very freedoms. Beyond watch, there are those in government who believe not that the Creator endowed us with inalienable rights, as the founders of our nation acknowledged in the Declaration of Independence, but
by the way, first of all, suggesting that it sort of should be like the official thing in the United States, that everything we have, all the rights we have, came from God, which, remember, they love to do this. They love to say the creators, the framers of the Constitution, the founding fathers, they believed that rights came from God or in religion or whatever the case may be. Sure, they were deists, but they believed it shouldn't have a role in civil government. They'll skip that part, but let's continue.
Government created those rights, and that government should redefine those rights, including our rights to freedom of speech, religion, property, assembly, and to keep and bear arms. Even fundamental scientific truths, such as the existence of two sexes, male and female, are subject to challenge these days.
And they boo.
You know,
It's not normal for commencement speakers to be booed.
And I challenge those of you. I'm not making a comment on the fact that there are people who transition between sexes.
So just stepping into it further and further. So there's a couple of different things here. First of all, as usual, sex and gender, Lummis is quite confused. At the same time, it is a scientific truth that some people are born intersex. So even though, of course, she's confused between sex and gender, she also states wrongly that it's a fundamental scientific truth that there's male and female. But in fact, I know it's a small percentage of people, but if you want to bring up science, you kind of have to acknowledge that she's also wrong on that. But that's not even really the issue. These commencement speeches, the whole idea is you bring a speaker who ideally is going to be inspiring to the people in the audience. It is going to sort of set up, you're going to kind of wind them up and send them off with energy and hope and ambition to do things to improve the world. And instead, she took the speech as an opportunity to do transphobic stuff, to do religious stuff, as religion should be part of government, talked about guns. You saw her talk about the Second Amendment. This is just the complete wrong place for it. And unfortunately, the initial response from the school president was pretty mealy-mouthed. Ed Seidel, or Seidel, is the president of UW, and initially put out a statement saying, on Saturday, the university celebrated spring commencement with a series of events that showcased blah, blah, blah. One of our speakers made remarks regarding biological sex that many on campus take issue with. While we respect the right of all to express their views, from students to elected officials, we unequivocally state that UW is an institution that supports and celebrates its diverse communities that collectively make us the wonderful place that we are. We welcome the incredible individuality and intellect of all of our dynamic and diverse students and never want you to feel otherwise. So not really a criticism of the actual speaker. And then that statement, after being decried as not very good, another statement was put out the following day from the university, which was a little more clear. And it said, unfortunately, during one of the ceremonies, there was reason for pause amid the celebration. And they name her. They say Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis offered the following statement. They quote the statement about two sexes. Our faculty, staff, and students know that is not the scientific truth. We affirm that humans may comprise various chromosomal variations. Not every person is strictly born female or male. Intersex members of our community who have diverse chromosomal makeup should be seen and recognized. Now, that's also kind of a cop-out, only in the sense that the reason the Lummis statement confuses sex and gender anyway, because she's confused. And they take the same approach I initially took, which is to say, even assuming she meant sex, she's wrong. Really, the issue here is a broader issue about gender and transgender, but it doesn't matter. It was good to see that after being shamed, University of Wyoming put out, and listen, you don't always want to attack the speakers that you invite. I get it, but they said it. And I'm glad to see it. But just what a dumb speech. I don't know any other way to say it. If you're using traditional toilet paper and paper towels, you're probably cutting down trees from North American old growth forests. And I've talked about before, we don't want to be doing that. Also, they come wrapped in single-use plastic. That's also a mess. And the solution is Real Paper. This is a sponsor I feel great about. Real Paper makes paper towels and toilet paper from fast-growing bamboo, not from virgin tree fibers from forests. Using bamboo prevents soil erosion, it prevents habitat loss, and importantly, it's a major impact on carbon. Real Paper also uses no plastic packaging. So we often talk about what can we do? Corporations need to do many things, but what can we do to help the environment? This is an easy thing, and I made the switch to Real Paper at home. I can't tell the difference. Everybody buys toilet paper. Everybody buys paper towels. This is one you can actually feel good about. And you can use the code PACMAN for 30% off your first shipment when you sign up for a subscription at realpaper.com/PACMAN. The link is down below.